Welcome you to BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth.
In accent, we need God. Because only God can bring us out of this mess.
I may not look like you and you me, but that's the way it's supposed to be. Dare to be you, dare to be me, and dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting its glory shine through. Dare to be you, dare to be me, and dare to be.
Good morning. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. First name's Doni, last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul, baby. I hope that you're doing well. You see this weather we're having outside? It's absolutely gorgeous. I think it's going to be mid-80s throughout the week. Hello, everybody. How you doing? Blessed be the name of the Lord. You know, we rip, race, and run. How many times we take a moment out and just say, thank you, Lord? Or if you're Muslim, Allahu Akbar, God is great. How often do we wish each other peace? We talk about peace. The preacher talk about peace. The imam talk about peace. But are we really being peaceful? Are we forgiven? Forgiving is a hard thing. Somebody did you wrong, owe you something, took something from you, and God forbid, owe you money. They are difficult things to forgive. But I'm here to tell you, trying to practice forgiveness. Carrying around grudges, all angst up because of somebody else's foolishness, is getting too high for that. All right, so we're about to go to our guest. He's getting situated. We have today an iconic brother. His name Rasheed Aziz. Aziz, you're going to have to get stationary. We're going to bring you on here and get people dizzy as he's getting situated. He's very busy at the 2100 block of West North Avenue, 2132 West North Avenue. I love this neighborhood. I grew up in this neighborhood. That used to be a block full of black businesses other than Jimmy's Chinese food. That's what the Chinese restaurant across the street from used to be called, Jimmy's. World famous. And we would go in there for French fries. You ain't ready for this. I don't know if they got this down in Florida. French fries, shrimp, and gravy. If you're from Baltimore and you had some French fries, shrimp, and gravy, say I do. Rasheed, salaam alaikum. Good morning.
Walaikum assalam. Good morning, Brother Doni. How you doing, sir?
Brother, I'm excited. I'm excited that anytime we have you on here, for those who don't know, Brother Rasheed Aziz works with young adults. And he has, I'm going to venture to say, the only black-owned manufacturing company. And how far? What? You're the only black manufacturer in how far? What's the radius?
Well, vertically integrated, I guess, is the key term, meaning that from soup to nuts, from fabric to finished product, on the East Coast, we're the largest.
Where'd you get the vision? How did this start?
Well, really, it starts from educating ourselves, you know, on the plight of our people. You know, I grew up, as you know, in 1887, as we call it, Eatonville, Florida, the home of Zora Hurston, the home of some pioneers that right after the Emancipation Proclamation went down and developed, like many other communities, Black Wall Street, in the middle of Florida, near Orlando, a town called Eatonville, Florida. Actually, it's the oldest incorporated being the key term black town that's still operating in the country.
Because there's another one, Mound Bayou, Mississippi. And
Yes,
I
sir.
got that from a cat from Mississippi. He said, we say Mississippi. But just to carve out, just looking at Florida,
Yes, sir.
I am so enamored with the Black history. It all started in Florida. In this book, you know, I've shared it with you. You got a copy and read it. Juan Garrido. They would have a seat, and that's why we have to have our own books. The first blacks that came here were not slaves. America got us messed up. I almost slipped up and used Kendrick Lamar's line. I don't know if you have seen his latest song. Have you seen Kendrick Lamar's latest video called The Heart Part 5?
No, no, I haven't.
Oh my goodness. You have, that is your first task when you get a moment. Kendrick Lamar, The Heart. And he gives an incredible story on the culture. And without giving too much of the video away, he features the faces of noted black men. So it's Kendrick Lamar. Next thing you know, it's somebody else, and somebody else, and somebody else. And one of the lines in that is he says, I do this for the culture. We talk about our history so we can know more about what our culture is.
Yes, sir.
We are so much more than descendants of slaves. Not all of us were slaves.
No.
The first blacks that came here were free. And one of them was Juan Garrido. The little one, another one was Little Stephen, aka Little Esteban. I know a lot of us like taking on gangster names. When I look at some of the rappers, we take on Italian mafia gangster names. You better look up your own tree and learn your own history, because ain't nobody more gangster than them black people who first came to this country. Anyway, I get excited. Forgive me. What's happening up there at Citywide Youth Development? What you doing?
Well, I mean, going back to a point that you made about, you know, image and we're more than, and that tradition and history, that development, that taught me that we're more than, you know, we're more than just descendants of slaves. We're more than, I mean, we built, of course, built this nation. And so being more than is really what brought me to Baltimore and what inspired me to build the Image Center. So we can change that image, change that mental and physical picture of negativity that they constantly thrust on us. But instead of spelling it with an I, you know, the traditional meaning of image, I spelled it with an E to denote what we're actually doing in action. And so EMAGE, that image, entrepreneurs making and growing enterprises. We wanted to let them know that we're manufacturers, we're producers, we're creators, we're developers. You know, we're going to create economic development in our community. That's the image. You know, we pretty much, mentioned earlier, the other previous, our ancestors, our elders that populated this community with businesses when it was segregation, when we couldn't go other places to shop and eat and do laundry and bank. We had those institutions. We educated ourselves. We didn't just all of a sudden in the 60s, in the 70s, we didn't have any of these institutions. They existed. As soon as we're allowed to have them, from the 20s on, from the 1910s on, from the 1900s on.
I'm going to say it differently. You say allowed to have. I would say when we found a way to protect what we had.
Well, that's a better term. That's a better term.
Because it's a war. When you're black and in America, and let's acknowledge, I believe that's a banker that gave you a shout out there. Is that Jim Peterson from M&T Bank?
Yeah, Jim's a good guy.
Yeah, you want to say hello to your banker, man.
How you doing, man? It's excellent, brother.
Jim Peterson has been very helpful to me in my business.
Very
Very
helpful.
understanding. He's got a business class. He's got business classes that he offers, and anybody out there listening, we're talking about business. As you talk about institutions, Jim Peterson, M&T Bank is someone we need to know. And on that note, June 25th, you agreed to be a speaker, Mr. Rasheed Aziz, down at the Black Owned event, June 25th. Just go to Black Owned 2022 on Eventbrite. But I digress. You have the floor.
Well, yeah. So what we built is the image entrepreneurs making and growing enterprises here in West Baltimore. It's a little about 10,000 square feet. Phase 1. Phase 2, we actually about to embark on. We were blessed, and we haven't officially announced it yet, but I'm doing it right here on your show, Donnie. Exclusive. Phase 2 of the Image Center is going to actually, we started the planning, pre-development. Phase 2 will be in a few weeks, where we're going to have a groundbreaking and ribbon cutting for Phase 1, but a groundbreaking for Phase 2 of the Image Center, which will add 15,000 square feet to the footprint of the Image Center.
Allahu Akbar. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah.
Yes, sir.
Was this always in the making?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it was the plan. Of course, we had setbacks because of COVID and some other things, and we were able to, all praise due to the Creator, make it through those challenges and now push forward. And so, what we're talking about, again, the inspiration is really a culmination of so many of our people that have came before that were successful and developed. And that inspiration that we got from so many of these pioneers in our community to develop and create opportunity, workforce opportunity, entrepreneurship opportunity, job creation opportunity, economic development. So we made our foundation of the Image Center a foundation based on manufacturing, which would allow us to vertically integrate the products that we produce and grow industry. So that's really what our niche is. We want to be the next, Fortune 500 company, but we want to center that coming out of the neighborhood.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we want to center that coming out of the neighborhood. So basically, we focused on 2 areas. One, apparel manufacturing, where we have, a state-of-the-art apparel manufacturing system here. And I think you're going to be our guest today to see one of our cohorts. And what we're doing is, again, unprecedented here in the state of Maryland. We have young adults, 18 to 21, that are learning apparel manufacturing during a 16-week program with job placement and entrepreneurship opportunities at the end. And they're going to manufacture school uniforms. School uniforms for a Black institution, no less, Frederick Douglass High School. So we have in the neighborhood young adults manufacturing products that are going to be consumed by young adults in the neighborhood.
Did you have any doubts?
Sir?
Did you have any doubts?
No.
Good
No, never any doubts. Challenges, yes, but we on Earth, so you're going to face challenges, but never any doubts. And that's
so let's just help people understand. You were able to get a contract with the nearest high school to your facility.
Yes, sir.
So I would imagine the next goal might be Walbrook or Dunbar.
Yeah, well, our next goal is, if we got Black students that are wearing these uniforms, there's no way they should be manufactured over in Pakistan, China, and India. not when we need jobs right here in our community. So we got to hold people accountable and feet to the fire. And on my end, we have to build the infrastructure so and to be competent to be able to achieve the task.
When you gonna
And
start making underwear? I say that because everybody wears underwear,
yes, sir.
and I'll be darned if I'm gonna go and take a $20 bill and roll it on some dice to know if they fit, if they don't fit. If I'm gonna roll dice, I might as well roll dice on North Avenue and take a gamble. And I
Yes, sir.
think I'm gonna win. Y'all made BNBL shirts.
Yes, sir.
You got one for me?
These
I need a BNBL shirt. I need to wear a BNBL shirt on Pennsylvania Avenue, and they all looking like, oh wow, where you get that at? Throw them on with the red Pumas. Oh my, oh my. Young boys don't know nothing about that. Young buck fall back for real. I done told my age. Come on with it, Rasheed. Go ahead with your bad self.
And in addition to manufacturing the school uniforms and the product for Douglas, we're also launching a school store. So in the Image Center, you have manufacturing, you have one of the only sit-down restaurants that anchors our building in the West Baltimore area on North Avenue. We have indoor-outdoor seating. Most of the places here, the food is unhealthy and it's carry-out. But here, you can come in, you can get fresh food, you can get fresh sorbet manufactured right here in the building. You can sit down, you can shop, and you can dine. So
You
we
know,
want world-class experience for the people in the community.
one day, a couple of weeks ago, I'm downtown, right there on Marketplace, and I see two of the young adults who work there at the EMAGE Center. I've seen them working there for years, going down to Port Covington, probably when you were at North and Edding, and they were pushing the frozen sorbet carts. And you know, it's like it's like being at the Million Man March until you see your peoples.
Yes, sir.
Hey, my man. And I'm doing what I do because you know I pull that camera right on out, and they
Yes,
doing what they do, and it was like a familiar face in the middle of this jungle, but they were out there selling their products. The first time I met you young people was right over here on Winchester Street. They were pushing that frozen desert sorbet cup. And then the first time I saw the clothes, your young people was standing opposite the dope man.
yes, sir.
Brother, brother. The visual for me, it's like people, we got a choice. You can get with this or you can get with that. You can get with something where you can have a lot of money right now, but you quite likely won't live past 25. Not without getting shot, going to jail, messing up family members' lives. Because when we make bad decisions, it impacts those around us. Or you can go in here, get this training, learn how to run your own business, become your own boss. I can't wait to see which one of your young people takes it to the next level,
Yes, sir.
whatever that might be.
Well, that's the goal. Because again, what it comes down to is mindset. We, the very important part of being here, right here on West North Avenue for us, was being able to bring downtown uptown. They need to see success and opportunity right in their community. So when we were in Port Covington, we were partnering with Under Armour, a multi-billion-dollar corporation. A lot of people were like, hey, you guys have made it. You made it out of the neighborhood. You've made it. And for us, it was like, no, we never gonna make it. We need to come in our communities and build and develop and create what they've created that was an abandoned warehouse area. We can produce and create that in our community, in our neighborhood. And thankfully, we've had, state and city officials that believed in that vision too. to
I'm
support
just going to call him out. Lieutenant Governor Boyd Rutherford. What does he mean to you?
everything.
Man of his
Because
word?
exceptional man of his word, stands behind what he believes in, and makes sure he put his money where his mouth is. So we're talking about, and
I
I
want
go,
people to get this. I want people
well,
to
yeah,
get this that Republicans, I want you to move all of what you heard aside. In the
you
city of
bet,
Baltimore,
yes,
the
sir,
Republicans invested in Coppin, then
yes,
they
sir,
invested in the EMAGE Center, and we're talking about blocks from Penn North, Freddie Gray.
yeah, through 4 or 5 blocks from Freddie Gray, 2, 3 blocks from Coppin State University, and we're not the only project. They got multi-million-dollar investment from the state of Maryland that were run by small black organizations. We're talking about small black institutions, but they had a proven track record of developing and creating community impact.
See,
Key,
we vote for these people, and the investment is always somewhere else.
yes, sir.
This is right here in 21216. I'm in 21217 right next door, but I grew up in 21216 once we moved back to West Baltimore. North Avenue. Most people would shy away from it. Nobody's come back there.
Yes, sir.
Nobody's invested in Penn North. Now we seeing the senator there. Has Senator Hayes been helpful?
Exceptionally,
So you got
exceptionally,
a Democrat and a
and
Republican helping. See, that's where
but
we got to get. We got to get away from this and that. We need all the help we can get.
the first monies that we got, and the first monies that we got. This is how we even met Senator Hayes real quick. Senator Hayes, actually, before he was a senator, before he was a delegate, he came into our small Northern Edding location while he was running for delegate and was telling me about and had a conversation with us about economic development and what he would like to do if he was blessed to be in office. Asked to put a sign in the window, and I told him no. We had an hour, 2 hour conversation about the hopes that he had to be in that position. And then he asked to put a sign in the window, and I told him no after he left. And then he came back a month later after he had became a delegate. And I was surprised to see him because it's like, hey, you've gotten to the finish line. So why are you coming back here? But then that's how I saw how sincere he was about really trying to empower his people in the community. That he's like, look, things that you were saying about economic development, community development, workforce development, empowerment of black folk, I believe in those same things. So I'm going to pledge to you that I'm going to support those initiatives that empower our people. And he's done it ever since. And this is before when he just became a delegate. So
And this is a non-paid commercial.
yes, sir. Non-paid, but I mean, you asked me to be real. That's all I could be. So you have a
It
Republican.
warms my soul. We don't hear enough of the stories. I share with them from time to time. The senator, 3 senators ago, everybody knows Catherine Pugh. I'm not talking about her. Before her was Ralph Hughes. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the senator before him, which was Senator Troy Braley. They named Easterwood Park. They renamed that recreation center and park after Senator Troy Braley. And he was just that kind of man. And our prayers for his daughter, Alice. She's been having some health challenges, Alice Torriente. But he was the kind of man, he lived around on Baker Street, not far from you, Baker and Moreland. It was nothing for Martin Luther King to go to his house. It was nothing for A. Philip Randolph to go to Senator Troy Braley's house. He was that my mother walked me by hand around the corner to his house to get one of them senatorial scholarships. And so I often share with Senator Hayes, I remind him of the shoulders, the legacy on which he stands. Important to know. You never know. I just wrote it yesterday. You never know where your blessings might come from. Quite often, your blessings won't come from friends. Your blessings won't come from family. Quite often, your blessings will come from complete strangers.
Yes, sir.
I imagine you didn't know Boyd Rutherford for 20, 30 years.
Nope.
You never know where your blessings might come from. Man of his word. Always been a man. I've known him 20 years. Always honored his word. And I only seen him pimp slap somebody one time. Well, he didn't pimp slap him, but he pimp slapped him. Because he's so calm and mild mannered. People don't know that fire that burns in his belly. He's straight out of DC, man.
Yes, sir.
He loves his people. And so we got to get beyond that. Well, this is a Democrat, this is a Republican. I live in a 9-to-1 Democratic city, and my community is constantly crapped on by Democrats.
Yeah.
You got the wrong one to be preaching to, partner. Okay, so phase 2, when does phase 2 begin?
Well, the pre-development for phase 2 has already begun, but the construction should be sometime in late July, early August. And what that's going to consist of is we're going to have the whole first floor, 5,000 plus square feet of black retail, women's boutique, children's store, school uniform shops, etc. All products that are manufactured locally, most of all businesses owned and operated by African Americans here in Baltimore City.
So I want to say this, and I don't want anybody to get it twisted. The women who support you, they like your MVPs.
Yes, sir.
Please tell us about them. Starting with them 3 older sisters, the ones that look like they look real, real religious type. But I wouldn't be surprised. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I personally call them the syndicate because they're powerful, powerful sisters. And we have a group of 5 sisters that, from the Muslim community, and including my wife, as part of that, who's actually our accountant and operations manager. They have been instrumental from the beginning in believing in our vision and being there to support us in terms of startup capital, putting money together so that we could acquire equipment to manufacture push carts to have them made, to expand the operations, and they believed in it.
In the middle of a pandemic.
Yes.
So you've already done the impossible, but then the pandemic comes.
Yes. Yeah, global pandemic comes, and we're in the middle of construction. So, and every outlet of resource of cut off like it did for many people. But for us, it really was a challenging effort. But one thing that came that helped us, that helped us actually deal with this unprecedented event, and that again was the lieutenant governor coming on board and creating an opportunity for us to manufacture for the state of Maryland PPE in the form of masks and gowns for first responders for the Maryland Department of Health. So we were able to survive, to not only and thrive during this time by creating 20 plus job opportunities when everybody is being laid off. During the initial aspect of the pandemic, by manufacturing items that were needed for people to treat all those that were falling ill to COVID. And that came from Lieutenant Governor picking up the phone and saying, hey, can you deliver? There's an opportunity for you. that was a six-figure opportunity to
That's what
manufacture.
Black Wall Street is.
Yes,
That's
sir.
what Black Wall Street is. All hands on deck.
All hands on deck.
It's a reminder when the politician, the businessman, the religious or spiritual leader, the community leader, all of these people are working together to form that fist.
Yes,
Because
sir.
you can't do it by yourself. He can't do it by himself. She can't do it by herself. They can't do it by themselves. But if we come together, that fist is strong. And that's what the ancestors, imagine them ancestors coming out of Florida who first went to Oklahoma in 1843. You fighting, I mean, God forbid if they had any internal disagreements, but you fighting the racists that want to put you in slavery. You fighting Indians that want to put you in slavery. They found solace after they went through to Oklahoma and Mexico. They don't show that in the cowboy and Indian movies.
No.
We had to go all the way to Mexico to get somebody that wasn't trying to put us in chains. They don't even tell us about the black president of Mexico. It's so much of our history that if we knew it, we better understand why we are capable of doing what you do. And one thing, the man who first taught me about Black Wall Street, Reverend Michael Carter out there in Oakland, the most important ingredient in Black Wall Street is God. With God, we can do all things.
Yes, sir.
Those sisters, I reiterate them because people see you out front. Or then they might see the young adults.
Yes, sir.
I saw them sisters, and they looked like they had big pocketbooks. They were very supportive, and I heard your words when we had the Black Wall Street up there, and they were still humble, but you made it clear that they're the backbone.
Yes, sir.
And we must acknowledge them.
We must acknowledge them, and this really is an homage to them because they had these ideas, but they had to make sacrifices. So on the foundation that they built, I'm able to build. We ain't create the foundation on our own. We build it from the sacrifices of others and their dreams and their ideas that they weren't able to achieve. So we get to keep pushing that vision forward. That's how we look at this. And these young people that we're developing and we're cultivating, they're going to continue pushing that vision even further. We're a part of that cycle. We ain't invent anything new. We're just a continuation of that process to strive for greatness in our community and empowerment. That's how I look at this every day. I'm honored to be in a position to be able to fight for our people and create opportunity for them. That's what the image is about.
Tell me something that you have learned along the way that you didn't know.
Personally, how resilient you have to be. And when you were mentioning God, going through, I mean, the first and foremost has to be the creating, having God consciousness. And it was, Allah would not put you in any position greater than you can bear. And that's real because you never know, like you mentioned earlier, where that help is going to come from. And so when you put God first and you have God consciousness and you try to stay away from major sin and you're sincere and you're going to be consistent and you're going to work hard, you're going to get the help that you need.
What gubernatorial candidates have come through the EMAGE Center this political season?
Westmore's been here, as well as his running mate, Aruna Miller. Tom Perez has been here multiple times. Those two primarily.
Good to know. So are there opportunities for young people to get involved now?
Yes, they are in both of our programs. And they're both of our programs. So our Students of Style program is an apparel manufacturing program, and we're right now it's a 16-week paid training. It's a partnership with the Mayor's Office of Employment Development. They're going to come in and they're going to learn apparel manufacturing skills. There's an opportunity for them to be an entrepreneur after the program or work in the field of apparel manufacturing. So there's opportunities now. We still have about 8 slots that are available, 18 to 21 year olds.
I'm getting
Um,
ready. Go ahead.
our other program that we're looking for people are from 14 and up. This is our frozen desert sorbet. You mentioned earlier our mobile pushcart program. We were so blessed this year to have an opportunity to not only to re-engage our partnership with the Baltimore Orioles. So we'll have 4 locations at Orioles Park at Camden Yards, where we distribute our frozen desert sorbet at our carts at Camden Yards. We're looking for young adults that want to work at Camden Yards over at the Oriole Park Stadium and get paid, or to partner with us and operate our mobile carts at the waterfront at the Inner Harbor. We've never had any locations at the Inner Harbor, but we're blessed this year to have 6 locations around the waterfront at the Inner Harbor. 6 locations.
So we should be thanking Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott.
Well, the mayor's office was instrumental.
I'm gonna give him
Waterfront.
his props. I'm glad to hear these things, and it's
Yep.
not the first time. CIAA,
Well,
I
see,
heard with my own ear the mayor being very pro-black business.
well, it was an enormous opportunity for a lot of Black businesses, including ourselves. We were blessed to manufacture about 5,000 masks for the CIAA tournament. And so the mayor's office, Visit Baltimore, the whole impetus was to get Black business engaged. Black restaurants had enormous opportunities around CIAA. So again, with the idea of empowering Black enterprise, engaging us into the economic ecosystem can help deal with crime and poverty. So we say here at Citywide Youth Development, our mission is to provide solutions for crime and poverty through utilizing the tools of manufacturing entrepreneurship. That you can deal with some of these things. Of course, all aren't going to be dealt with around, changing the economy. But the reality of it is, if you engage, our community in the economic ecosystem of this city, it creates opportunity for others. And by contrast, it creates the one thing that's needed, hope.
All right, this is baseball season, and I'm getting ready to throw you a knuckleball. You ain't ready for this question I got for you.
Yes, sir.
This ain't a fastball, it's a knuckleball. It ain't going the way you think it's gonna go.
Okay.
What clothing manufacturers, what Black clothing manufacturers in Baltimore do you look up to?
I look up to John, John Cash over at Cashland.
I'm glad
Uh,
you said that. Because
well, look,
I think he's one of the greatest. I watched dudes grow from a kiosk. He don't have the big manufacturing plant, but I've been down to his building and it's gorgeous.
yes, it is. I mean, look, as very humble guy. He, you talking? He's the godfather, of fashion in Baltimore City.
You
He,
answered my question. I do
yeah,
want to hear more though. Tell me more.
yeah. I mean, look, John is an excellent guy. Now, of course, we try to encourage him to do more local manufacturing and kind of do more of that manufacturing here in this country. But then that's a process of educating and us positioning ourselves so that guys like John are comfortable to have their product manufactured in America, and not in Pakistan, right? But beyond that, John is, you're talking about decades in the game. A lot of these brands haven't lasted that long. He does, he's very insightful. He, he's, just to have that longevity and continuing to push the brand and helping support other brands. And that's a lot of things people don't know. John helps develop other African American brands right here in the city. Right? He does printing, he does embroidery, so he does embellishment for other brands right here in the city. So he's not only pushing Cashland, but he's the foundation to help launch other brands here in Baltimore City as well.
And that's
So
rare.
that's very rare because, again, people, man, they're looking out for self. I want to be the one. I want to be the flag bearer. And again, that selfishness that, humans have, period. It ain't like just black people have that selfishness. Humans have that selfishness. But the fact of the matter is, for us, it's a cancer because we got to unite and work together for all, for that rising tide to happen. So you're the most successful brand in the city. That means you got to partner with this group, you got to partner with that group, you got to partner with this. So now we can become a major economic ecosystem in Baltimore. Black urban action can be that.
When I go to New York, or sometimes I see cats from New York, like Dougie Fresh. I've noticed how New Yorkers, when they go on the national stage, they don't go alone. Quite often I see 2, 3 of them. Or if you see one here, he's promoting the other 2 or 3. And then when they get their turn, they're promoting the other. They keep that, they grow a business ecology. If one eat, they all eat. If you see me, then you see my boys, and then you see their boys and their girls, with all due respect.
Yeah. Well, Atlanta's done it. Atlanta has been the focal point of hip hop for over 2 decades because of that same concept. So Usher does R&B, but now he got the rappers, so he's doing song with the rappers, this rapper, that rapper. It don't matter what generation coming, they all working together. They're a united front.
Well, they all better take some notes from Kendrick Lamar, because he ain't taking no hostages. His song been out a few weeks. He got 35 million hits.
Yes, sir.
You got songs that have been out there for 20 years, ain't got 35 million hits. He got 35 million hits in 4 weeks.
That's amazing.
And it's not some.
That's what I'm saying is more amazing, because at one time it used to be like that in hip hop. Our largest artist was Public Enemy, KRS-One. You're talking conscious.
Is back with something.
Yeah. So it's good for this generation now to get some consciousness back into this, especially since it's so global.
And let me say this about KRS. I love that he never forgets his grassroots. He ain't budging. You can't pay him to budge. We need people in business in Baltimore like that, like you.
Yes, sir.
With their feet on the ground. Some people will sell their mother out for $5.
Yes, they will.
We need people.
That's why communities look like they do. Not enough investment. And so as you said, it's a two-way street. And that's why I'm so, I feel so blessed, to have people that believed in our vision, like Senator Hayes, because he put the first money up. The first money that we got to build this project, and this was an old raggedy building. Raggedy building was a bond bill. I had no idea what a bond bill was. And that when our Senator Hayes came and said, hey, look, we want to help support this vision. And that was the first dollars that we got. So the thing about it is, revisiting the earlier conversation in phase 2, we're adding 15,000 square feet to this footprint. We're adding 5,000 square feet of ground floor retail. On the second floor, and you're going to love this, we're doing video production and podcast studios.
Oh,
Right
really?
here on West. Yes, sir. So we're going to sit down and talk about that when you come over. We're gonna build 3 video production studios and 2 podcast studios on the second floor. 5,000 square feet of space. Why is it important? Because one thing that you taught me over the years is the importance of media. It's the importance of controlling our own image. It's the importance of utilizing technology and adding those 2 things of controlling our media, telling our own stories, and now showing that to the world. And so it took me a while to get it. And then it became clearly apparent that we need right here on West North Avenue, ourselves have it through technology. But we want to be able to have state-of-the-art, space to display, to communicate, to have conversation right here in the community. So what better place? Right here in the hood. We ain't got to go outside. We ain't got to go to TV Hill for that.
Let me just add into one of the beauties, because growing up in the church, there's often this standoffish attitude about our Muslim brothers and sisters. Before we even meet a lot of our Muslim brothers and sisters, we already have these preconceived notions of what our Muslim brothers and sisters, what we think they believe. But as our eyes are cleared of the foolishness, we realize they praising God just like we praising God. And that should be enough. But what I'm getting to is a lot of our people, let's just tell the truth, learn about Islam over the jail. A lot of cats ain't trying to be nobody's girlfriend, or women ain't trying to be nobody's friend, or what have you. And they join with a different motivation. But the EMAGE Center gives people an opportunity to see people who grew up Muslim. And that's it. Ain't no jail story. Ain't no jail story nowhere in the picture. There's people going to mosque on Friday, people celebrating Eid Mubarak, being involved in the community. We just interviewed Imam Earl Alamein.
Yes, sir.
Thursday night over at WEAA with Mike Nice. And he's such an icon, a legend on whose shoulders we stand.
Yes, sir.
And who has taught so many of us, mentored so many of us, particularly in media. Let me go to your quote about media. Malcolm, and I got to throw this out there. Malcolm said the media is the most powerful entity on earth, can make the innocent look guilty and the guilty look innocent. People in this city, many people, black and white, have angst behind what Fox reports every day. Clearly, Fox don't love Baltimore. Clearly, the people there don't love Baltimoreans, because every story is something negative. And I really think the entire newscast, including Kai Jackson with his runaway slave report, they need several hours of therapy. We all need therapy, but they need some of that Willie Lynch therapy. Seriously, somebody need to take them out back and throw some hot water on them, clean them up, clean up their spirit.
Drop squad.
Yeah, throw some vinegar on them or something. But we must have our own media to tell our story, and not just media. When I go to black media, with all due respect, I don't want to read about Will and Jada. I want to read about Rasheed and Citywide Youth Development on West North Avenue. Now, if Will and Jada want to come down to 21 unblock of West North Avenue, I'm all for it. But I'm not caught up in Hollywood.
Yes, sir.
I see that the people in Hollywood are so far removed from common sense. Love Jay-Z, but when I look at his latest video, it's a lot of material stuff. When I'm watching Kendrick, I'm seeing people on the street. I'm hearing the street stories. So before we go, can you give us a little tour and show us what we got up there for those that don't know?
Sure.
Then afterwards, I'll be on my bicycle pedaling up there to 2132 West North Avenue.
Sure. So let's see here. So you enter here in the Image Center. We have here a cafe. So when you first enter into the door, you have Frozen Desert, Sorbet and Cafe, which has downstairs eating. Again, this is not a takeout. You can actually sit and enjoy your food upstairs or downstairs. And so as you would traverse through the property here, you would enter into, we call it, this is the place in the avenue where you come and dine. So we actually have shops here. Here we have Be Original Kids. We have a women's boutique that'll be occupied by some young ladies with their new fashions. We have Made and Be More clothing here. And all of this product is cut and sewn and manufactured here in this facility. And will soon be Douglas High School's school uniform store that we're actually about to start painting and getting ready for. And here behind these doors is actually where the action takes place. Young lady cleaning up. Know what she's cleaning up for? You're supposed to be on the machines. All right. And so this is the instructor, Wisdom. Hey, Wiz. All right. So everybody's getting ready for class. We're tidying it up first. But this is 5,000 square feet of state-of-the-art apparel manufacturing equipment, including embroidery and printing in the back. So this is the only space of its kind here in West North Avenue in the inner city, right? So multi-million-dollar operation that we are blessed to have right here in the neighborhood.
Hey, brother, I know you've been on Black USA, you've been on Be More News. Has Black Enterprise been to cover you yet?
No, sir, not yet.
We got to get the word out to our other media partners. But there have been, Fox 45 came there. Matter of fact, they covered our Black Wall Street Award there. And I'm hard on Fox.
Fox 45.
I'm hard on them, but they did that. They showed up, and none of the other outlets showed up.
No, not yet. They haven't showed up as of yet, and I'm sure they will soon. But our job is to, and this is again another reason why we wanted to be in a position to tell our own stories, you know. And so seeing you through the years and the impact that you had, even for us as an organization, you covered us so many times. You've seen our growth and development, and that part and parcel is because of how you've, communicated us and shown us out and exposed us to hundreds and thousands of people that we really wouldn't have had an opportunity to be exposed to our work and the difference we're trying to make in the community. And I appreciate that. And not only what you do for us, we're talking about thousands. Man, you are the champion of Black business and Black excellence, and so may the Creator continue to bless you, and keep you safe and sound and healthy so you can continue this journey, man, of just creating empowerment for our folk.
One last question. You work with young people, they're gonna chances are, as nature goes, they're gonna outlive you.
Yes, sir.
Do you ever look down the road like what it'll be like?
What it'll be like? Rephrase that question.
Me and you, we in temporary vessels. We leaving this joint one day. What do you want your legacy to be?
Man, my legacy to be to help change the image. That's what I call it, the image, for a whole bunch of reasons. But I really wanted to be able to lay the image and say that I've laid a foundation to help create some sustainability and economic development and hope and pride in our community. Real legitimate systems for that, not just ideology, but systems for these young people to come in and say, hey, look, I grew up, in Gilmore Homes. I remember some young guys used to come through here selling ices in a cart. It was an old raggedy cart. And now they've built that into a multi-million-dollar company, and they're partnering with the Baltimore Orioles. To be able to provide that type of hope and create that type of example, and then anchor that in the community that is the legacy. Because that's real. We've been able to accomplish that by the permission of the Creator. So it's like, that's the legacy, because they can see them in me. I can see myself in them. I grew up in the same type of environment. Mom on crack, don't know who my daddy is, raised by great-grandmother and auntie. Had to quit at 19 years old, had to quit college to become the guardian of my 5 and 3-year-old sister. No education, and then had to figure it out. And had I had access to these type of resources, it could have been a totally different situation. But thank God, he sent people to help lead and guide me and provide me strength, etc. But that's the legacy that we want to leave. To show them that, yes, sir.
Do you know this sister here, Deborah Hardnett?
I'm not sure.
Well, I'm going to link you with Sister Deborah Hardnett. She helped me publish my first 2 books. Come on, Pharaoh. She helped me publish my first 2 books. She's in Atlanta. She spent time here in Baltimore. She does a show on this network. Deborah's show is today, actually. Muslim sister. She's
okay. What's the name of the show? Send me the link so I can check it out.
Wealthy Sisters. Wealthy Sisters. Dynamic. I will link you with her, my friend. Woman of a word, about empowerment. Atlanta, Baltimore, North Carolina, wherever she goes. But she's new to the Islamic world relatively, and but still my friend. One of them people, I got to call all the way to Atlanta when I need something done. And sometimes your help, it ain't coming from where you think it's coming from.
Yes, sir.
But you got to keep on. I say it like this. Eagles sometimes got to go long distances to find another eagle, because we typically surrounded by pigeons. All right, we're going to get up out of here. How can people get in touch with you, Rasheed Aziz, Citywide Youth Development?
They can reach out to us at email raziz@citywideyouth.org, or just go to our website, citywideyouthdevelopment.org. That's CITYYOUTH development.org. And they can follow the different links for our different programs and operations. But man, look, if they're young people that's looking to be engaged right now, please don't hesitate to contact us for either our Frozen Desert Sorbet Initiative or our Students of Style or Fashion Manufacturing Program.
Okay, after I walk Mr. Pharaoh, I'm on my way up to 2132 West North Avenue. We're very proud of you, Rasheed Aziz. May the Creator continue to bless you, your family, your business family, the EMAGE Center, and all of those people who helped you. And big ups to those people who didn't help you. How you like me now?
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, and thank you for the opportunity, Donnie, and everyone else. Please come by the Image Center, because we do more than just workforce development and entrepreneurs. We actually open to the public, so you can come in and dine at our Frozen Desert Sorbet Cafe or shop in any of our shops.
I'm on my way. Donnie Glover, yes, stay tuned for Mr. William Honolulu. Good morning, world.